Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of my curriculum that I'm going to be going through this next school year for the 2021. Today I'm going to be going over science, history, as well as devotions and our Bible study and how we're going to intertwine that. We are a Christian family, and so we are going to have most of our stuff is faith-based curriculum. So keep that in mind while watching this. It's just something that we feel is important, and I'm pretty excited to be able to teach that. Sorry if you hear barking in the background. My neighbors just pulled up, and so my dog's going crazy barking. But anyways, so sorry, he's distracting me. I originally bought this stuff. When I first bought all this stuff, it was, we are just going to be doing this for the 1 year. That's it. I just want to get her through till 3rd grade, and then we'll reevaluate, see if we need to do it for 3rd grade, and if not, we're just going to put her back in public school. But since then, and since I've researched homeschooling more, and I've seen how other moms on YouTube handled it even before this whole virus thing happened, it just kind of hit home that maybe this is something we actually need to be doing long term, and so for high school. And that actually kind of scares me a little bit, because how do you homeschool through high school? I loved being able to take all the electives, and I did everything I could to take as many electives as I could. So I even did summer school just so I could take more electives during the school year. So I'm kind of like, oh wait, but I want her to take all those. But we'll see. We'll see. Right now I am thinking actually homeschooling may be the way to go throughout high school, throughout elementary school, throughout middle school, and throughout high school. So I think this is just something that we're going to actually end up doing long term. Anyways, with that said, let's get started. This is the devotion I think we're going to be going through, and it has pretty much everything we're going to be studying this year. Let me see if I can find the page. Yeah. So right here it has space, earth, animals, and people. And that's all the subjects that we're going to be studying in our science this year. And so I think this is going to be perfect. And actually, I didn't even buy this. This was a Christmas gift from, I think, one of my in-laws. I don't know. It didn't have a name attached to it when it's sent, and nobody ever told us that they bought us this, but we got it. And it's going to be perfect. And I've actually seen this in so many other homeschooling moms' curriculum plans for the 2021 year. And so we will see. I think this is going to be something that we do. And then along with our devotion time, this is going to be our devotion time. I did get this book for my daughter to do, although again, I didn't realize we were going to be doing this long term, so I was just kind of picking things that made sense. But I really, really wish I got More Than Words, and I actually might break down and go back and get that and do More Than Words by Rebecca Spooner, because it looks so good. I just seeing her video explaining everything, it just is that's more of what I wanted than this. Although this does look fun, it has tons of fun activities in it, and if you do want to see a more thorough, in-depth flip through, please let me know, because I'll do them, because I'm new to this, so might as well do what people want. Alright, but they have fun activities and games and that go along with Bible stories, and that's great. But the More Than Words, I think, is going to be better for her journey, and kind of something that she needs more of. She's a very good girl, but she definitely needs some work in areas. And so I think More Than Words would have probably been the better choice to pick, and so we're gonna go with that. And then for history, I did get the Abeka history thing. I was planning on, and I still am planning on, just taking each section and just going more in depth into history with my daughter. We live in a very history rich area, so I don't want to read it, I want to go and experience it. Although again, this is something that I bought whenever I was like, we're just to get through this year, just to make sure she's on track with her 2nd grade curriculum, we're just gonna do this. But I really wish, sorry I have it written down, I really wish I would have got Star Spangled by Knotgrass, because it looks so much better. It looks so much better. It definitely goes more in depth. They have a whole bunch of like extras that you can add with the actual Star Spangled. They have a part 1 and a part 2, and you do the first one the first half of the year, and then the second one the second half of the year. And they have music and recipes that go back with those times and days. I think that just sounds like so much fun, and it looks really cool. It is quite a bit more expensive than this one, because that was also my idea. I'm like, I'm only gonna do this for 1 year, so let's make this as cheap as possible. But this does seem pretty good, and I am gonna plan on just going through this year, and then next year I'm going to be getting the Star Spangled for sure, unless something better comes out. But this has everything with it, and we're just kind of going to use this as a guide. So it talks about Native Americans from the north, south, east, and west of all the different tribes, and it talks about everything throughout history, and history is one of my subjects. I was always an A student in history, so I love history, and with our area, we hopefully, I mean, it depends if things are open, but we will get to go and experience history instead of just reading about it, and I'm so excited for that. I can't wait to take her to all the battlefields, to all the places where when we're reading it, I'd be like, okay, so now let's go to it. There's so many buildings in here that are so close to us that I don't want her to just read it. I want her to see it. I want her to kind of get a feel of the grounds. I don't know if it's just me, but when you go to a historic site, say like Mount Vernon, or you know, I don't know, just think of it, any historic site, or even just like our downtown area. We live in a very historic town, and no, it's not the most positive, it's kind of a Confederate town, but just going and being in downtown and like close your eyes and just like picture it, and you kind of get these chills and butterflies, and you really understand like where I'm walking, history was made, and it just like, it kind of gives you that vibe, and I want her to try to learn how to experience that vibe. And plus, in here, let me see if I can find it, but in here it talks about the Wright brothers, so obviously we're gonna need to make a field trip down to the Outer Banks. So, because I mean, you can't learn about the Wright brothers and then not go to the Outer Banks, right? So it's gonna be a perfect excuse to go to the Outer Banks. Alright, now for science, again, I probably wouldn't have chosen this if I knew we were gonna be doing this long term, because when you homeschool, you don't, and depending on where you live, certain areas have different rules, so sometimes you do have to follow strict curriculum depending on which state, but where we live, you kind of just get to choose, and then you just have to show that they're learning and that they tested well and stuff like that, from what I understand. But I chose this because, again, I didn't want her to be behind if she did have to go back to public school and be in 3rd grade, so she would learn all the 2nd grade stuff. And then I picked this one specifically. This is the BJU Press Science 5, or 5th edition, Science 2 5th edition. And you can see I've already marked this. I liked this one specifically because it did a really good job of explaining worldview and biblical view, and I think that's so important, especially for Christians, because I think sometimes Christians get a little butthurt when you talk about science, because they're like, no, that's God. I'm like, okay, but God created the science to create the things that you need to learn about. And so There's actually a show on Disney Plus that talks about, like, they prove some of the biblical events throughout history. They've only have 2 episodes right now. I don't know if they're going to come out with more, but they're really interesting, and a lot of the reviews on that show are negative because they're like, you're just trying to prove that science did this. And it's like, well, duh, science did that. God created science. Duh. So I'm just like, it proved that it did happen. Science proves that things happen. And so, but yeah, so I thought this did a really good job, because you do need to know both worldview and biblical view. And plus, these pages are colorful. I love color, if you could not tell. They get in deep depth color. This, and they have this beautiful, every page is filled with color. They also have experiments throughout this book, although I only got this one because, again, we are going to be going further in depth. Here's the space one. It only talks a quick bit about space as a whole, and then it goes straight to Earth. But I'm going to take, you can see my sticky note, the sun, each planet, moons, stars, and we're going to go further in depth and research all of these before we move on past this and go straight to Earth. So we got this. It's just more of a guideline, but they do have activity books and a workbook that goes along with this, and you can get tests and things like that, but we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to do this as a guideline for the first year. Again, I probably wouldn't have picked this if I knew I was planning on homeschooling year-round, and I still might end up ditching it. We'll see how it goes. Right now, my daughter really wants to be a marine biologist, and I really want to chase that with her because, first of all, it's marine biology, and that makes me so proud. But I want her to experience and experiment with her loves. And so this doesn't go too much into ocean. It goes a little bit, but not too much. And so I really think doing the Gather Around ocean unit sounds so fun and exciting. So we might end up ditching this one. We'll see. Right now we're gonna go ahead and try to stick with the plan. And in this one, just so you know, there are experiments in here too. So you don't necessarily have to get the experiment one. And science, again, is also one of my subjects that I'm super good at. My mom will tell you that I used to leave science experiments all throughout the house. So I used to get in trouble for that. But now I actually get to show her these science experiments. And then one of my sister-in-laws got this book for my daughter for her birthday. And so this is going to go perfectly with this because a lot of these intertwine, as well as our devotion intertwines with all of this. So that's what we are going to do, and I'm super excited for this, even though a lot of this might end up changing because it's not what I wanted. It's not, well, it is what I wanted, but at the same time, now that I'm realizing all the avenues that you can go down with homeschool, I think I would have went a different route had I known. But I do want to give these a try just because I don't know if they're not going to work. Like, maybe this is the better style for my daughter, and I just have hopes for other things being a better style. With the Gather Round, I can do it. They have a pre-reader version and an elementary version that would be my daughter's age, and like so many other levels along with the one book. And so I could have even my son, who doesn't know how to read yet, doesn't know how to write yet, there's still one for him where he can be learning about stuff too. And it's kind of like taught old school style where, you know, all the kids in the classroom are all different ages and there's just the one teacher teaching the subjects to everybody. It's kind of like that feel, and it sounds so cool. And so we're gonna probably try that eventually. I know we are for sure going to get their Christmas one because it looks absolutely amazing. So December, we will be doing the Gather Round Christmas unit because it looks so awesome. I can't wait till it comes back out. I emailed her and she says that it will be out probably in September because they're making adjustments and making it even better than it was before. So I can't wait for that. And so if you have any other ideas, or you're curious about a English is hard. if you're curious about a flip through of any of these books, please let me know, because I will be more than happy to do them, because they are very beautiful. One of my things that I wanted pretty pictures in everything. So I made sure that I got that for sure. But if you would like a better flip through, please let me know. And we'll see you in the next one.